moved off their lands and the lands remain unmanaged, it starts to get ravaged by wildfires and feral animals that you'll see in the photographs appearing behind us, and weeds. Slowly we have ecosystem change and ecosystem collapse. Imagine if all of the bees started to die out with no pollination, what would happen with food? So the things that Aboriginal people are doing out in the bush where they're not seen, they're doing work that's in the national interest. It's for the benefit of all for us, but it's on the sidelines of the policy debate. They do it on the smell of an oily rag and always struggling. And to be able to do this, they have to live on the country to pass knowledge. So this is what, it's at the fundamental, it's the foundation of sustainability of Aboriginal people living on their land using customary knowledge and Western science.
And I came to an event at the end of last year where you were launching your book, and I think you all contributed to that. I think Sean edited it. And you talked about the fire management and carbon sequestration and how you, well, and feral animal management at that. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like and we were talking the other day, you know, about the buffalo coming in and how things have changed in the landscape. So you go there one year, and the next year you go back, and it's all been trampled, and the seawater comes in.
I suppose you can see in back of us here that how much damage that buffalo and horses and pig that destroy the land, you know. And like I said, that land is so important for Aboriginal people. That's why we want to go back and try and help to look after the country a bit more and protect the land, because then we're finding that it's very hard for whatever equipment we have now, like vehicle and that, you know, and we need more support because very small funding they issue to rangers to look after the country.
Yeah, and that size of funding was something that you highlighted at that book launch. What were the stats on that? The size of the funding compared with the size of the land?
There's something like a government's environmental funding that goes to looking after country, what they call through their Caring for Our Country program. They stole the Aboriginal name, Caring for Country, and Peter Garrett put the 4 in it, Caring for Country, and started to pull an Aboriginal program name into a government service. Aboriginal people get about 6% of that funding, yet they own 23% of the landscape. They're the poorest people in Australia, so they've got an enormous task. It costs about $25,000 a year just to run one vehicle in Arnhem Land or the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's enormously difficult to get out on country and move around. So you start to say if there's 23